Greetings and welcome to another episode of Sonic Odyssey, the music video channel dedicated to bringing you the last 5 decades or so of music in review and discussion format. Before we begin, let's get the housekeeping out of the way. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the video channel so you can stay up to date with all things Sonic Odyssey. Also, please feel free to visit our Patreon page. We have a Patreon account, the link for which is in the show description below the video. And there you can donate anything from a couple of dollars a month upwards. You can have your name listed in the credits of each video, and you can even go so far as to choose an album for me to review. That's the housekeeping out of the way. So today we're going to get into our discussion. It's really not going to be a very long one, but hopefully it'll be still a stimulating one. We're looking today at the musician, a bassist, jazz, funk, rhythm and blues, and sometimes metal bassist who goes by the name of Victor Lamont Wooten. And we're going to look at his 1996 solo album, A Show of Hands. This was his first solo album. He had primarily been known for working with the jazz band Bella Fleck and the Flecktones, but struck out on his own to do some solo work in 1996, and has since released upwards of probably looks to be about 10 albums or so, most of which are more traditional jazz, funk, and rhythm and blues. But this first solo album is pretty much traditional jazz album, with the caveat that it is just solo bass. The special thing about A Show of Hands is that it's just the bass guitar and some voices and some vocals provided by Victor Wooten on a couple of tracks. The sound in general is pretty amazing, considering he recorded these songs live in the studio with no overdubs, no multi-tracking. The bass guitar is just himself playing a single Fedora bass guitar. Well, let's give you a taste of the music to give you an idea of just why Victor Wooten's bass playing is so spectacular, with his signature open hammer pick technique and his slap techniques that he uses. He doesn't use a pick, or at least not in usual circumstances. He usually has the playing technique of just plucking or strumming, or using the open hammer pick technique or the slap technique. So let's get started with something that Stevie Wonder wrote. It's a song called Overjoyed. Overjoyed does a good job of showing Victor Wooten's ability to have just one man playing one bass sound like two basses are being played. It's got, he has this technique of plucking and tapping and the open hammer pluck technique that he uses, which allows him to get what sounds like multiple basses, but it's really just himself. So it has a wonderful tone, and I chose that song Overjoyed because I think that it has a good representation of the tenor of the entire album, which is pretty upbeat, very light. It does get a little heavier in some tracks, such as Classical Thump can be a little bit, heavier in tonal quality, but he does this so smoothly and so cleanly that even with the little flubs that he might have made along the way while he was recording being left in, and that's why, again, it's important, remember, no overdubs at all. It has a real heartful sound. It comes across as a very heartfelt and beautiful recording. So if we look at what Victor Wooten has done over his career, as I said, he's won 5 Grammy Awards with, I believe most of those were with Bella Fleck and the Flecktones. He's worked with Steve Bailey, who is the chair in, I believe it is, let me just make sure of this here, the sitting chair in the Berkeley Bass Department. And they've put out 2 albums under the title Bass Extremes. One was called Just Add Water, the other was called Cooking, I believe, or Cookbook. He's done also a solo album with 2 other bassists, Stanley Clarke and Marcus Miller, which was really spectacular. It was called Thunder. The name of the trio together was SMV for Stanley Clarke, Marcus Miller, and Victor Wooten. And Thunder was similar to A Show of Hands, just bass guitar, and the 3 bassists pretty much showing their ability to hold a groove and be masterful and exceptional with their instruments. So let's give a listen to another little bit of Victor Wooten's first solo album from 1996. This is what easily could have been a single. It's the track Me and My Bass Guitar, featuring Victor Wooten on the bass and, of course, doing the vocals. So here's Me and My Bass Guitar.
My name is Vic, I'm gonna do a little trick. I'm gonna play my bass without using a pick. Travel around the world and back again. I just taking my bass out for a spin, and you know what I'm saying. And if you're ever looking for me, I don't go too far. Cause if you really wanna find me, you know where I are. With me and my bass guitar. You say it. Me and my bass guitar. That's right.
Me and My Bass Guitar shows a little bit of humor, and of course, you know, the chorus shows poor grammar if you're looking at it from that perspective, but it's done in good humor and good taste. The album itself is held together. There are a number of interludes between songs, and the album actually begins with an interlude, You Can't Hold No Groove, which is just a 12-second vocal piece where someone says, "Yo, Victor, whatsoever you do, don't, forget this, you can't hold no groove if you ain't got no pocket." And that leads into the track, You Can't Hold No Groove. Otherwise, the album is fresh. It still stands up this day. In the year 2011, there was a 15th anniversary edition of the album that was released that had a couple of bonus tracks on it. I don't have those bonus tracks. One of them includes a 12-minute solo, a live bass solo. Wish I had it, but I haven't seen it available for purchase other than online, and it's awfully expensive to just buy it for the tracks, these 4 tracks that I don't have. So I haven't felt or seen a reason to get it. I bought the album in 1996 when it was released, and I've been happy enough with my copy of it since then. So that is Victor Wooten. He is a teacher. He's a writer. He's done many different projects. He's also, he owns his own record company, which is Vic's Records. And so he's got a lot of, he's got his hands in a lot of different pots. He's not just cooking up his solo albums, but he does still continue to work with Bella Fleck and the Flecktones, but he's doing a number of other projects as well. He runs a summer camp for musicians, and of course that includes his focus on the bass. He does that with Steve Bailey and some other people. So Victor Wooten is a phenomenal and extraordinary talent. The bass is probably my favorite instrument when it comes to jazz and metal music. And hearing someone play the bass guitar the way Victor Wooten plays it is just astonishing. He plays it almost like he's playing Spanish guitar, using his fingers to pluck the strings and tapping on the fretboard. It's refreshing and astonishing, mind-blowing the first time you really sit down and listen to it, especially with songs like A Show of Hands and Classical Thump, and they really give you a sense of just how much skill and talent this man possesses on the bass guitar. His most recent album was a collaboration album with, I don't have the name of the third person. I don't want to get it wrong. See if I can locate it here. No, I'm not going to be able to locate it here. It was called Tripnotics. That's the name of the album. And it's listed as one of his solo albums, but it's really a trio project. Dennis Chambers on drums, and a gentleman whose name I can't remember. I apologize. I don't see it listed here. So, it's a short video today, but I hope that at least I've sparked enough interest in your mind that you might be interested in checking out what Victor Wooten has to offer. If you're looking for something that's more traditional in terms of jazz music, his album Yin Yang, or Yin Yang as a lot of Westerners would pronounce it, is a really good 2-disc collection of jazz and a little bit of funk and rhythm and blues thrown in. He did Soul Circus, which was another really traditional album, and Palmistry, also very traditional jazz, still just as spectacular on his technique and playing, but more musicians, other instruments being heard. But I think A Show of Hands stands out special and unique for just being solo bass and no other instruments other than voice and vocals. So that about wraps it up. I would have to say I give A Show of Hands 4 out of 5 stars. I give it a 4 because there are the occasional missteps that you can hear, but he didn't re-record it, didn't overdub it, didn't go back and, change the mix. This is a straight up live recording in the studio, and so it does have, human error in a few tiny spots, and there are really very few of them, but you can tell that they're there, and they give it that human touch, that human element. So yeah, I would say I'd give it 4 out of 5 stars, and I hope you enjoyed listening to the samples that I played for you, and I look forward to seeing you for the next video. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and please consider visiting the Patreon page where all the tiers are explained very clearly and concisely for your ease. That does it for us today. Thank you very much. Enjoy your day or night, whatever time you're watching this, and I'll see you again soon. Peace. Bye.